but that was probably because I didn't pay.
So what was yours, V?
Mine was see others only as whole, so I can be more whole as a teacher and a learner. And that's a work in progress. I was kind of thinking about how in the past when I help people, it's like, how can you help people without seeing the deficiencies or the things that they can work on? And then it's like, well, and if they don't take my advice, because I was quite bossy with my mum, learning what I did and knowing what she was doing was not working, but if people aren't taking my advice, it's because they don't see me as whole, because I don't see them as whole. So it's like this great big circle. So it's got to start with me, actually. And I know I've got self-talk around like, oh, you can do better with that, and you should have done that, blah, blah, blah. So that's what I need to work on.
Beauty.
It's never about other people.
The only person we can change is us, so that's very true.
Let's ask the tigress in disguise, Carly.
Who could that be? Gary, I have no idea.
Don't know.
I just don't know. You're just so silly, Gary. You just come up with these silly descriptions. I don't know.
That's too funny. Let me quit crying here.
Well, my saying was, love needs only this invitation. I find that I quite often come up with these sort of short little ones and that sort of just make me go, oh, that's nice. So I'm going to choose more carefully for other things. But I've just taken on this big sewing job that I thought wasn't going to be that big, and it was just going to fit in amongst all my other things. But no, it's just taken over my whole life, and if I'm lucky, I'll get a bit of sleep. It's only for a couple of weeks, but yeah, it's reminded me of why I'm moving on.
Wow.
Yeah, I just, as soon as I started, like my back started aching, and I just was like, oh yeah, I remember all this. Oh,
Are
yeah,
you being compensated fairly, as we were talking about before?
well, see, actually, no, this pays a bit shit. But I have great big things around all that sort of fair compensation. I very rarely feel like it's fair. Yeah.
Have we been afraid to show our teeth, Carly? Or our stripes? And maybe that's why.
Yes, we have.
Well, yeah, it's certainly the case with me. A big old tiger trying to be a pussycat. The only one who has in this house who has a right to be a pussycat is my pussycat Precious. She has earned the right to be a pussycat, not me. Right? Not I, Precious.
She still knows how to defend herself.
She's cleaning herself and making herself more gorgeous. That's what you're supposed to do.
Joey, have you shared yours yet?
I do not recall what mine was from last week.
Okay, no worries. I just thought, with all the hair flicking and stuff, I got distracted.
Carly, sometimes you write them all down. Do you have Joe's?
No, I didn't write them this time. I just stuck with mine.
Yeah. What's yours?
One focus.
Yes.
Mine. I've done mine at the start.
Oh yes, yours was yes, brilliant.
Are we ready?
All right.
Let's dig into it.
Oh, we're up to number 5. I'll just move that screen up a bit of healing and the changelessness of mind. Number 5. Is that too high? Can you see that, Gary?
Yeah, I
Yep.
can see it.
You want to
Can
start
you
at
move it? V, can you move it down one? Because I
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
read the one just above for myself.
Right.
Yep. That's
Even further, because it should be the body is nothing more than a framework, right?
Number 5 says the Holy Spirit.
yes, number 5. Yep.
Okay.
Ah,
The Holy Spirit does not work by chance, and healing that is Him always works. Unless the healer always heals by Him, the result will vary. Yet healing itself is consistent, since only consistency is conflict-free, and only the conflict-free are whole. By accepting exceptions and acknowledging that He can sometimes heal and sometimes not, the healer is obviously accepting inconsistencies. He is therefore in conflict, and his teachings conflict. Can anything of God not be for all and for always? Love is incapable of exceptions. Only if there is fear does the idea of exception seem to be meaningful. Exceptions are fearful because they are made by fear. The fearful healer is a contradiction in terms and is therefore a concept that only a conflicted mind could possibly perceive as meaningful. It seems to be all talking about the because I remember a few paragraphs back was that all healing happens only through the Holy Spirit, and we're always, well, I think that was, I forget whose quote it was, but was it yours, Fee? That was about healing being consistent? Like there was no order of difficulties and miracles?
Yeah, somewhere along there. Yeah, it keeps talking about, and I always love it when they say there's no order of difficulty, but I'm not sure what the quote is that you're talking about. So we see things as difficult when this is easy, this is difficult, but there's actually no difference. It's just up here.
Right.
We make things more difficult than they need to be.
So if a healer is actually fearful, then they do believe that there's an order of difficulty and that miracles only happen with exceptions instead of all the time.
I love this because it just makes it so clear then. Are you healed? Then it wasn't from the Holy Spirit. It's simple. If what you're doing isn't
Yeah.
working, it's not of the Holy Spirit. So, try something else.
I have a question for people. How when I've been in a place where something is healed spontaneously in or on my body, I've always been in a state of deep, profound, tearful gratitude of the grace that is flowing to me in my life. Trust me, it doesn't happen often, but once in a great while, I get to that place where I'm just like tearfully grateful. And then when I'm in that state, not wanting anything, just in that state, my body heals. Or I'm infinitely grateful, my body heals. I just want to know if anyone else has experienced something that is like they would call a miraculous healing, and then what state you were in when that miraculous healing happened. Collie, did you want to share something?
Yeah, because I had a little breast lump that was nothing. And every 10 years they'd say, oh, that was nothing. But I had it cut out, and I was in total gratitude before I went in there. For me personally, I knew it was nothing, but the doctor went in and took it out just in case. But even in the anaesthetist room, I was in total gratitude, total peace and gratitude with where my body was at, where my mind was at, my energy, my connection to source, total faith, total faith in the doctor. I looked across at the doctor as they put me to sleep, and he was reading his notes like they do with their head down, just to make sure you're not eye viewing each other. And I remember saying out loud to him, thank you. And then I fell asleep. And when I woke up, I had no pain. My little scar that was probably 5 centimeters long, no pain, nothing for the whole time it healed. Like I was walking using my arms and no pain whatsoever. And I was in total gratitude.
Yeah.
Pre, during, and after.
Awesome.
That's how powerful gratitude is.
I just wanted to know if there were any other states that people may have had experiences like that where it happened.
I haven't had spontaneous healing, but I've had a lesson, and this is how I kind of see anything that goes on in my body now. It's just a lesson. It's like, hello. And I've had this skin condition since puberty, and everybody wanted to name it. And I had in the early years, I did go to the doctor and get creams and stuff, which didn't really help. It came to a head when I went to India in 2016. And my arms were just all swollen, welty, bubbly, messy, itchy, horrible, irritated, angry. And this is all the stuff that was going on up here. All these words are what I was feeling, and it was coming out. It was expressing itself physically. And it only went away gradually as I changed and loved myself more. And it wasn't spontaneous at all. It was a process of actually discovering more about how to love myself more. It's gone. And I didn't need to give it a name. It didn't need to be called eczema. It didn't need to be called this or that or whatever. Giving it a name just it was like, it doesn't mean anything to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just going to the doctor was not going to help it. It just didn't make any sense to me. So it's gone.
Awesome. Awesome.
I know the feeling of gratitude that makes you cry because it's been happening to me lately. And that's not a normal happening for me. So I will finish buying some groceries and be putting them away. And then I sat down for a moment and tears came to my eyes, just saying, look what you were able to do right now. Look how wonderful this is, how you have a roof over your head, there's food in the refrigerator, things are opening and shifting. And just that feeling, I'll start crying just out of the blue. This has been happening lately. So something is shifting. Something is shifting intensely and deeply.
Something just came through to me to tell you. Yeah, and I don't know if it's accurate or what, but this is what just came through to me. It said, you need to make friends with money.
Yes, I like that.
You need to visualize whatever money represents to you. And you need to be in that deep state of gratitude for the blessing of it coming to you in ways expected and unexpected. So it was very strong. That's why I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, I agree. That feels absolutely accurate, and that's what's happening. Because to me, money is just freedom. It's a beautiful an energy of freedom.
Yeah.
And it's allowing myself out of when we did one of our sessions and I saw that horrible iron box with a little tiny window and bars on the window. That's gone. So it's freedom. Allowing
Awesome.
myself out of my cage.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. We may well prowl together, Coralie, and let people be very,
Roar.
very scared.
You don't need to growl, you can roar. I am woman, hear me
Exactly.
roar. Isn't that how the song goes?
That's right. Yes. I
Yeah.
am woman. We roar. You bet.
Who would like to read number 6?
And give her the mic.
I'll read it.
Good on
Go
you.
for it.
Fear does not gladden. Healing does. Fear always makes exceptions. Healing never does. Fear produces disassociation because it induces separation. Healing always produces harmony because it proceeds from integration. It is predictable because it can be counted on. Everything that is of God can be counted on because everything of God is wholly real. Healing can be counted on because it is inspired by his voice and is in accord with his laws. Yet, if healing is consistent, it cannot be inconsistently understood. Understanding means consistency because God means consistency. Since that is his meaning, it is also yours. Your meaning cannot be out of accord with his, because your whole meaning and your only meaning comes from his and is like his. God cannot be out of accord with himself, and you cannot be out of accord with him. You cannot separate yourself from your Creator, who created you by sharing his being with you. We are creators from the Creator, and we have enormous power. Everything that is of God can be counted on, because everything of God is wholly real. Am I being too literal, you guys? What do you think?
No, I think it's a pretty clear statement. I mean, a pretty clear paragraph.
You cannot separate yourself from your Creator, who created you by sharing his being with you.
I love how, we were talking about with Adria with your singing and with what you do with your voice. And this is all about voice, isn't it? This is all about resonance and harmony and voice and the laws, the law of fair compensation. And
It's true. It's true. Wow.
There's a line in here that I've not heard before, but it's really incredible. True learning is constant and so vital in its power for change that a son of God, you and I, can recognize his power in one instant and change the world in the next.
Wow.
I think that is, I've never
That's
heard that.
incredible.
Oh,
Yeah, it's paragraph 7.
are you reading ahead, Gary?
Yeah.
I'm
I was
writing
like, where are
right
you?
now. I
All
am.
right. Who wants to read number 7 so we can all catch up with that? Carly?
I'll read it.
Thank you.
The unhealed healer wants gratitude from his brothers, but he is not grateful to them. That is because he thinks he is giving something to them and is not receiving something equally desirable in return. His teaching is limited because he is learning so little. His healing lesson is limited by his own ingratitude, which is a lesson in sickness. True learning is constant and so vital in its power for change that a son of God can recognize his power in one instant and change the world in the next. That is because by changing his mind, he has changed the most powerful device that was ever given him for change. This in no way contradicts the changelessness of mind as God created it. But you think that you have changed. It's as long as you learn through the ego. This places you in a position of needing to learn a lesson that seems contradictory. You must learn to change your mind about your mind. Only by this can you learn that it is changeless.
Wow.
I love that. You must learn to change your mind about your mind.
I did kind of read ahead, didn't I?
You did. That's okay. We were ready.
And that just popped out at me, and I just thought, "Oh my God, I've never heard that before."
It is quite powerful.
It's an amazing paragraph.
Yeah.
I love it. What you put out there.
And it sort of goes back to Gary's original question about gratitude and the divine occurrence that occurred for me. And so I wasn't outsourcing the person to know I was grateful. I was just in awe of gratitude and for every being around me before that operation. And I knew the angels were with me during it. So I was in total gratitude to the divine in everything I was seeing. I wasn't needing it to be validated by anybody.
Beautiful.
And I love that is because he thinks he is giving something to them. The unhealed healer wants gratitude from his brothers. And one thing, Gary, that I've noticed, the more TMRT sessions that I do, I'm feeling the healing as well.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that in the very beginning, I guess, because I was so nervous about just the process. But now I'm realizing that when I'm going through this process, I am feeling a shift in me as well. So it's all vibration, and it is all the vibration of God. So this makes wonderful, again, heart sense. Wonderful heart sense.
When you help someone else, Audra, you actually leave uplifted from that session because you have done your divine purpose by working and helping another aspect of the divine wake up.
Mm-hmm.
And that is what we're here to do. And however we do it, but it's always a gift back unto yourself.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I ever understood that until now. So I get it.
And just to add, like the paragraph before, because it's inspired by his voice. And in your technique, Gary, the person facilitating is using their divine voice.
You bet.
The person receiving is receiving the picture, the sound, everything from the divine voice. divine music that you're talking about earlier.
Yeah.
And so it's all aligned with total oneness with the divine and through the voice. So powerful.
Agree. Who's up for number 8?
I'll do it.
Yay, Corley.
I'll just move it up a bit, shall I?
Yeah.
I'll move it up. Yeah. There we go.
When you heal, that is exactly what you are learning. You are recognizing the changeless mind in your brother by realizing that he could not have changed his mind. You are recognizing the changeless mind in your brother by realizing that he could not have changed his mind. That is how you perceive the Holy Spirit in him. It is only the Holy Spirit in him that never changes his mind. He himself may think he can, or he would not perceive himself as sick. He therefore does not know what his self is. If you see only the changeless in him, you have not really changed him. By changing your mind about for him, you help him undo the change his ego thinks it has made in him.
Okay, I'm confused.
Yeah.
Corley, would you mind reading it again?
Yeah. When you heal, that is exactly what you are learning. You are recognizing the changeless mind in your brother by realizing that he could not have changed his mind. That is how you perceive the Holy Spirit in him. It is only the Holy Spirit in him that never changes his mind. So that's the mind in the brother. He himself may think he can, or he would not perceive himself as sick. He therefore does not know what his self is. If you see only the changeless in him, you have not really changed him. By changing your mind about for him, you help him undo the change his ego thinks it has made in him. So is seeing your brother as whole?
Yeah.
So not seeing the sickness,
Yeah.
even if that's what they're seeing?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sort of like seeing the end result in its wholeness, not with any ego.
It's seeing the soul beyond the personality.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's like you're saying, V, it's like you're already whole and this person's perceiving they're not. And you're entraining your empowerment of the belief of or the ownership of that. And basically it's allowing the other person to unhook that energetic frequency and re-engage the higher one.
So when we
Through
see
the
them as
power.
whole, it helps them see themselves as whole as well.
And we know they're whole and they know they are.
Does it seem clearer now, Gary?
Say again.
Does it seem clearer now?
It does.
Second reading. I've found that as well sometimes when I've just rethought a situation and come at it differently, and the next time I meet that person, it's like, you know, that problem that I invented doesn't even exist anymore between the two of us. It never was there.
I love that thing, because last night I was talking about the power of my telepathy. You'll love this, Carly. So I'm sharing to the group for my first ever speech about myself. And basically, I've never done that to a group before. And here I am sharing about telepathy and how powerful I am, because I've only got to think a couple of things and they start creating in front of me with other people as the mirror. And so if I know that I'm whole and I'm feeling whole and I'm thinking whole and I'm then surrendering that with no agenda, basically I'm showing up as that, and the other person gets to know who they are again, like it reawakens without my agenda. And we're that powerful.
We are that powerful, aren't we?
We certainly can be.
Thanks, Carly. Shall we do number 9? Up to number 9. I haven't read yet, so perhaps I'll put my hand up this time. Check no one else has snuck in. No. As you can hear 2 voices, so you can see in 2 ways. One way shows you an image or an idol that you may worship out of fear, but will never love. The other shows you only truth, which you will love because you will understand it. Understanding is appreciation, because what you understand, you can identify with, and by making it part of you, you have accepted it with love. That is how God Himself created you, in understanding, in appreciation, and in love. The ego is totally unable to understand this because it does not understand what it makes, does not appreciate it, and does not love it. It incorporates to take away. It literally believes that every time it deprives someone of something, it has increased. I have spoken often of the increase of the kingdom by your creations, which can only be created as you were. The whole glory and perfect joy that is the kingdom lies in you to give. Do you not want to give it?
I love the stark distinction between the ego and God. Does anyone have any questions about this last paragraph?
I just feel that what we've been reading is so much all coming back to what we started with in the beginning. And I think I didn't even press record at that stage, Adria, with you producing things and not feeling compensated for it, and or not actually being, you know, appropriately compensated for it. And Carly, you were kind of feeling the same thing. And it's now I've kind of lost it here a little bit. Well, actually, that's it. And that's why I think I've lost it, is because we're producing things that we love, and yet we can keep giving and giving and giving until it sucks us dry to some point, because we need to receive as well.
We do.
Yeah.
And so what can we do to be more open to receiving? If we're doing what we love
Practice.
anyway.
Well, I think Audra kind of said it. To walk around in deep gratitude for the very simplest of things. And then I think the floodgates begin to open. And one of the things I do want to say is and I don't know why this is, but things do not happen to us on our time.
Mhm.
They happen in God's time.
Yes.
Things will show up at the right moment, at the right time. Our job is to say, this is what I'm choosing to bring into creation. I am unattached as to when it shows up. I am attached to that I am calling it forward from the ethers of possibility, what I desire from my heart, rather than the time frame that it should come to me in. And I really do believe that that is closer to the mark of how we manifest, is that we're just in deep gratitude for all that is, and that we call forth from our creation what it is we desire to bring to us to actually extend back out into creation again. And it happens in his time, not in ours.
And I think in the way that the divine wishes, it may not, if we drop the expectations, because expectations can be limiting. If you're standing on a corner that I'm waiting for a yellow car to come by and pick me up at 2 o'clock. And if I would just turn my head a little, in the Hudson River, there's a boat with my name on it. But I'm missing it because I'm waiting for the yellow car on the corner. So it's letting go of the how too. I'm really allowing that, let it go, let it go. The how and the when it will show up. To keep that faith that it will show up.
I agree.
Yeah. And the receiving has been just really difficult for me. I don't know about you guys. Man, I didn't even have the vaguest idea how to do that.
I would just sit in deep gratitude for the life that you've created for yourself, Audra, and just say, I call forward, my wealth, my contribution, my ability to give my gift. Let me be of service. And
Yes.
just be grateful for whatever shows up that day. And of course, take massive action. You have to take massive action.
I'm doing that. I'm doing that. Yes.
That's all we need
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. And it's not in my time. It's not in my time. Sure, I want it yesterday. Of course I do, but
Well, the deal is to stay out of fear and to stay out of scarcity. That's the trick of it.
Can I stop sharing so I can see all your faces properly?
Sure.
Because we're not doing any more paragraphs. We're just about out of time. So we've got time to do our lessons to bring forward. I have a new one, and it's not even from the book, it's from here. I'm letting go of the how. Because that's my big one. I even stopped my visualization process by starting to break down how I'm going to make it happen. So yes, I'm letting go of the how.
It's awesome. I'll go. Mine is a son of God can recognize his power in one instant and can change the world in the next. I love that.
For mine, I'm doing deep gratitude.
Hmm.
and
Mine. Oh, you go,
sorry.
Ada.
No, go ahead, Kali. Go ahead.
Mine is receiving deep love and appreciation for God's creation.
Mm. And mine is you cannot separate yourself from your creator who created you by sharing his being with you. I think the translation in New Jersey talk is, you are totally divine. So like deal with it, like accept it, like pour it all over yourself.
That's very Jersey. Jersey's
Joe?
kind of like Queenslanders way up north and in the outback. You know?
Exactly.
Joe, have you got yours?
Love is incapable of any exceptions.
Oh, Toby, that's a good one.
Right.
Well,
That's a very good one. I expect to see you next Tuesday like Mahatma Gandhi.
Aren't I already there?
Oh, I
I know.
apologize.
I shaved my head. You want me
The
to shave my
transformation.
head?
No, don't ever do that.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, gang.
Okay, we'll see you next week.
wonderful.
Okay, God bless. Have a great week.
Surround you with
everyone.
the most beautiful vibrations.
Thank you.
Ciao, darling.